Here are some book recommendations if you want to understand the importance of metabolism. You may ask, what does an oncology hypothesis have in common with a psychiatry textbook and a book about bread? So here we go. The obesity code, Jason Fung. His argument is that body weight is a hormonal problem before it is a willpower problem, and that the device built on the willpower model failed for structural reasons. The diabetes code, same author. Next question. He argues type 2 diabetes should be understood as a condition of insulin resistance rather than a permanent sentence. And he lays out the case for remission. What that means for any individual person is a conversation with their physician, not a book. Now, Why We Get Sick by Benjamin Dickman, a cell biologist. This is the one that generalizes the claim. His position is that insulin resistance shows up underneath a long list of chronic conditions that are usually filed in separate departments. Good energy, Casey means the system's view, written for a general reader. Her frame is that when cells lose efficiency at producing and using energy, the consequences do not stay in one organ. Metabolical by the master Robert Lustig, pediatric endocrinologist. His target is sugar in the liver, and his argument is that the food supply changed faster than the guidance about it did. Ultra-processed people, Chris Van Tulliken. Here's where the shelf starts arguing with itself. His claim is that the problem is not any single nutrient, it is what industrial processing does to satiety and how much you eat before you notice. The big fat surprise, Nina Teschel's a reconstruction of how dietary fat became the villain and how thin the evidence was at the moment the guidelines hardened around it. Contested loudly by people who were there. The case for keto, Gary Tobis, the dietary end of the same argument. Whether you find him persuasive or not, he is the clearest writer in the entire stack, which matters more than people admit. Brain Energy, Christopher Palmer, a Harvard psychiatrist. This is the jump. His proposal is that some psychiatric conditions have a metabolic component running underneath the symptoms. It is a hypothesis with a growing literature, and it's not settled, but it makes sense. Cancer is a metabolic disease. Thomas Seyfried, the furthest edge of the shelf, and one I flagged the hardest. He argues tumor biology cannot be explained by genetic mutation alone. That is a hypothesis with preclinical support, contested clinical standing, and nothing about it changes what an oncologist should be doing tomorrow morning. Now, here's the part that made me keep all 10 instead of picking a winner. They do not agree. Dobbs and Teschels say the fat guidance was the error. Lustig says the sugar was the error. Van Tulliken says both of them are still arguing about nutrients, while the actual variable is the processing. Those are three different explanations for the same trend line. Put them on a shelf together and you're not reading consensus. You are reading an argument in progress with the disagreements left visible. 10 specialists working separately, converging on one system. I've been reading them for years and I'm still not fully decided, which is exactly why there are 10 of these and not one. My name is Ricardo Barreto. I work at the sourcing and documentation side of the biologics and peptide industry, which means I spend my week reading primary documentation most people in the space never get to see. So don't forget to follow because the next list is going to be all about beauty, the beauty of biology, and I will definitely start there.